Let the games begin. Greetings, everyone. It's Uncle Vigilante, and I am your host for what will now be a weekly episode from noon to 1 p.m. Eastern Time, where we're going to talk about all things crypto. And when I say we, my co-host, Max Freeman of Epic Cash, Epicenter. It's why we call it Epicenter Live. We're not just going to be talking about his project and his coin. We're going to be talking about crypto at large. But what we're going to do different is we are going to make it, here's the word, inclusive. So what I'm going to do right now is go over to the chat, and I am pasting a Zoom. Oh, goodness. I'm going to have to redo that because I guess you can only put so many characters in there. I am going to paste a Zoom invite chat, and you can, there we go. If you have Zoom, you can Zoom in. If you want to add, it's going to be like a weekly call-in show. So you can schedule it, you can set it, or you can forget it because you can catch the live stream later. But we really do include or encourage you to be inclusive in this so that we can talk crypto with everyone, because this is fun. Now, what I wanted to share is two things. One is I have the ability and the power to predict the future. Yes, Uncle Vigilante has the power to predict the future. And I'll prove it to you because I'm going to make a 6-month prediction. Okay. And then we'll look back in 6 months and see if I'm right. So here's my 6-month prediction. And it is based upon all of my years of business experience where we start new companies or invest in new companies, start new projects or invest in new projects. So I'm just going to be centered on this channel. Here's my prediction. In 6 months, this channel will absolutely not be what I think it will be. That's just how things work. And I was thinking about this morning, knowing that I was going to go live with Max. And I'm like, my goodness, 6 months ago when I began this channel, I had no idea where this channel would go, what topics we'd discuss, and the fact that we're going to be having a call-in show every Sunday. And that's kind of cool. So that's the only thing I know about the future, is that it's not going to be what I think it is. So we hope you join us for the journey, join us for the ride. And the other thing that I wanted to share with you is earlier in the week, I was having a conversation with Max, and I thought, because we were talking about doing this over the week, and I thought it was 5 p.m. on the 25th, a little before that. And I said, you know what I want to do? I want to go create a portfolio and just put it in my my app, and just a fictitious Uncle Vigilante portfolio that's going to include a lot of the coins that I like, and it's going to include just a good portfolio of what I think are the good coins that are out there. And I attributed it based to kind of my preference and what I think you should have. But what the hell do I know? I don't know shit. All I wanted it to be was a basis. So I did it, and everything added up to $500,000 in this Uncle Vigilante portfolio. And I thought what would be kind of cool is just that being the baseline is for us to be able to, somebody is joining us, and I think it is my partner, Max Freeman. And what I would like to do is just look at that as a reference. Hey, Max, look at that as a reference. And I would be able to say, hey, today, so on the 25th, it was $500,000. I got it down almost to the penny. And now it is $468,000. So Max, if your audio is working, I just have one question. Are we still in a bull market, or is the FUD master Jim Cramer right that it's all going to hell in a handbasket?
All right, sound check 1, 2. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Welcome.
I was just signing in from my my laptop. So I actually don't watch the markets. Let me go to CoinGecko and take a look here. So let's see, 1.4 trillion market cap. Let's see.
Can you share your screen and show us how you personally look? This will be great education for all of us.
All right, let me know when it comes up.
I see it.
All right. So the run up that we had is pretty colossal compared. I mean, it makes 2017, 2018 look like a warm up. So we topped out at what, 600 billion market cap for the entire market. And then on this peak, we got up to 2.4 trillion. So for those that think we're gonna keep going up and to the right, just move that there. Okay. Let's see. Okay, yeah, close enough. So on this high, we reached 4x in dollar terms, the prior high, but that's deceptive because in dollar terms, like the length of a dollar is shrinking. So if we go to, we go to the St. Louis Fed, we can see here that at that time back in 2018, let's see, where was it? December 2018, something like that. Okay, 4 trillion, something like that, close enough. Or let's say 3.6 to 4, something like that. I mean, for the entire history.
4 for the math.
Yeah, 4 for the math. But the salient point is that this is really when it started, like the financial crisis, okay, 06, 07, 08. If you remember, oh my God, 800 trillion TARP, we're gonna bail out the banks and ruin the country. Now it's like, hold my beer. So you went back to all this time, decades and generations. I mean, you know, go back when you got your first chest hair and the money supply was pretty similar to the financial crisis, right? What's a few hundred billion among friends when you're talking about a trillion? So then we're cooking along. And the market cap of crypto, let's say, so it was 632 billion divided by 4.2 trillion, let's say. So it was about 15%. Crypto market cap to US Federal Reserve M1 money supply was 15%.
Okay.
And now on this most recent one, you can see, so instead of 632 billion, which was here, the prior peak, or let's say, what was that, 848? Okay, so let's say 848. And these are just rough numbers, so about 20%. And then we go here when we hit 2.4 billion or trillion. So we're gonna take that 848 to make it 2,400. But now instead of 4.2 trillion monetary base, we have 19.2 trillion. So even at our most recent peak, we only hit 60% as high in constant dollar terms. If you looked at barrels of oil or grams of gold or square meters of top real estate in city centers, whatever, bushels of wheat, the amount of actual stuff that you can get more broadly would be about 40% delta between the last time and this time. And so on the one hand, 2.4 trillion looks like a lot versus 800 billion in the past cycle, but that's actually only 60% of the way. So,
wow.
So adjusting for the fact that our basis of reckoning, our unit of account, our dollar used to be worth, our foot used to be 12 inches and now a foot is 3 inches. And so we're all, I mean, I always wanted to be six feet tall. And so, you know, I by that measure, I'm almost there. So you know, it just depends on what you look at. The institutional back pressure in terms of the desire for institutions to come in was there in the past, but the ability wasn't there because you didn't have the infrastructure in terms of custody, regulatory clarity, know-how of the staff inside these organizations, regulator comfort level, auditors, accountants, lawyers. I mean, it just takes time for behavior to shift. And so it could be argued that not only is it down 40, not only is it 40% cheaper peak to peak, but we've also had a nasty retrace. If we go here, okay, so we're down by half. So this is one of those times where you go, Mr. Market, you're schizophrenic, buddy, or manic depressive at the very least. In May 6th, this is the future of finance, and it's worth 2.4 trillion. Today, it's chopped liver, and we're all going to die. Did the value go down by half in a month, 6 weeks, or is Mr. Market off his meds, and this is a buying opportunity? So I tend to think, okay, so of these 8,220 coins, if you go back and look, as I have, at the top 10, the top 100 today, top 10, top whatever, is new things that didn't exist from the last boom. If you go from the last boom to the one before, 90% of the list changes. And so if the history of crypto tells me anything, is that if I rush out and buy something today because somebody somebody somewhere said it's a good deal, there's a 90+% chance that that thing won't even exist in a few years. And wow. So that makes a mockery of
100, right?
Those are the ones that made it. That doesn't account for the stillborn dreams, the the seeds that didn't take in the soil. The failure rate in venture capital is enormous, and in crypto even higher. So the numbers are really against you if you come in now and you come in uninformed and you don't do the homework. So the only coin that I would recommend anybody buy, I mean, obviously I'm partial to Epic, but if I say that anybody should buy it, then I'm talking my book. So let's avoid that. So this CGT, this cash gold token, okay, 1,000 coins, most of which are absolute garbage, are greater than it in terms of market cap. This thing must be a piece of junk. No, it's just kind of under the radar in terms of marketing, and because it doesn't use the market makers to puff up the numbers and make it look like there's a lot of action when there really isn't, it looks unimpressive at 68,000 and a $3.5 million market cap. But when you look closer, this is actually a really interesting one, because you can take one of these CGT tokens and redeem it for a gram of physical gold in 150 countries. So you could ship gold to yourself from any one of 2,000 dealers to your house there. You give them these tokens, and however many grams of gold that is, whether you buy coins or bars or silver or whatever, let's say like gold grams worth of precious metals. This one, the reason I like it, there's other gold stable coins that do a decent job of tracking the price of gold. But when you look under the hood, you can't actually say, sounds great, I'd like my gold, please, here's your token. That's where it breaks down. This is the only one, to my knowledge, that has the redeemability.
Have you gone through the entire process of redeeming just to test it?
I have not, but I've actually been to the facility of this company in Singapore that runs the program a number of times over the past 10 plus years. I know the management, the ownership. I mean, there's probably $1 billion of metals sitting in a warehouse adjacent to the police station in Singapore, or wherever their facility is. I mean, it's Singapore. If you throw a stick of gum on the sidewalk, it's off with your head. So there's a lot of things that make someone feel safe if you're not inclined to trust, because at the end of the day, this type of system is only as good as the processes of the people who are running it and the integrity of the organization. So here, go ahead.
This it becomes really, really interesting to me now. So as we're experiencing the volatility that we have, and as there is just a tremendous amount of FUD relating to Tether, that maybe that is an emperor has no clothes, be careful, house of cards. But if I am, let's just hypothetically say that this market just recoils and just starts going crazy again, and Bitcoin gets above $100,000, and then everybody starts talking about how it's on its way to 250 to 300. You know, that'll be the narrative, and then all of a sudden that fear index pivots, and everybody is so greedy, and that is when I want to be smarter next time and say, okay, everybody else is just blah, let's go Bitcoin or whatever coin, whatever your portfolio is. And so to me, what I want to do, at least with part of my stack next time, is pivot into a stable coin, because I have found this year that when everybody is preaching buy the dip, I'm saying with what? So in this case, we would, what are your thoughts of just pivoting, taking 25% of your portfolio when that fear index is all the way to greedy, and just saying, okay, I've seen this game before. It happens all the time. Let me just pivot out. And this CGT would be the stable coin that I presume you would recommend.
Well, the only crypto assets that I personally hold, as you know, I believe in do as I do, not as I say. The only assets that I hold are CGT and Epic, and CGT doesn't really count because really I'm getting exposure to gold without the hassle and headache of actually owning gold. What I was gonna finish with, just to wrap that thought up, is the way their process works is that when metal is brought into the system, it's encapsulated in a plastic sealed baggie, tamper evident if somebody gets in there, with a barcode. You can actually see, if you go onto an Ethereum block explorer, you can see like 12 gold coins in a little baggie with a serial number, something like that, and track the life cycle through Ethereum. And it's also insured by Lloyd's of London, as well as a significant balance sheet of the operating entity. So, you know, anything involving trust, there's a risk, but this is definitely as trust minimized as I think it gets. And if you look at risk minimization, the risk of holding gold in your possession is that somebody comes and takes it. Maybe a vault facility that stores bullion for a living might do a better job than you in your $200 safe you installed in your closet. So you just have to decide what's right for you. But I think what you'll discover, I don't know what's in your portfolio, happy to go through it with you, but I think what you'll discover is that 500 grand is probably comprised of a bunch of stuff that is overvalued and or going to zero, that it might not be, not even not worth your money. It's not worth your time and your consideration.
Even when the markets are down, though, because that's kind of that is the psychology, right? You get your stable of coins and it becomes your portfolio, and then you're.
Oh, that's a great way to lose all your money. You should just light it on fire, and at least then you'll have some entertainment value rather than just and pleasant memories rather than just regrets.
Wow. Okay. Well, not this.
I can sugarcoat it if you want, but
not this show, but maybe next show we can walk through the portfolio that I selected, and you can tell me where I'm wrong, because I'm sure there's a lot of other people holding what I'm holding. The question, Albus asked the question: what about redeemable silver coin? Is there an equivalent to CGT?
Until so the market value, the overall market cap of all gold in existence is less than 10 trillion. The silver market is less than 10% as small, if I remember correctly. Silver is consumed as an industrial metal in various things, whereas almost all the gold that has ever been mined, that which didn't get lost in shipwrecks and so forth, still exists, and it's economically viable to recycle it. So just there's more there. All the process mechanics are in place for this place to do silver, platinum, palladium, cobalt, nickel. Those are the ones that are used in electric car vehicles. But just the demand isn't there. I mean, the biggest market in the world for precious metals is gold. And after substantial effort, there were only, I think it was 60,000 grams of gold plugged into that system. So it's definitely a niche tool that is probably on bleeding edge rather than leading edge. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like your everything that's not Epic in your bag of shit coins, just write it off. I mean, at least in my mind, like we can go through it, but like what you will, don't take my word for it. What you will probably find if you do the exercise is that you're paying 2 to 3 orders of magnitude beyond what that asset was worth in its undiscovered, in the portion of its past when it's undiscovered. And you can keep I think somebody later in life that is not dedicating their entire existence to studying crypto and wants to be a professional speculator, trader, and/or venture capitalist in this field, you probably want to be 90% gold, 10% crypto, or even 95% gold, 5% crypto. Because if you pick the right crypto, that 1 or 2 or 5 or 10% will just absolutely blow away anything else. Gold is $1,800 now, which adjusted for the money supply. And of course, you know, people can argue it should be M0 versus M1 or M2 or whatever. However you look at it, there's a lot more currency in existence chasing basically the same amount of gold. And so by that same analysis, at 16 or 1,800 bucks or whatever the price is now, you're essentially paying, what is that, the equivalent of 300 pre-COVID dollars. And in 1982, gold got up to, I think it might have been 81. Before my time, you probably remember, but it hit 850 bucks after Nixon took the U.S. off the gold standard, the so-called market price at that time. It wasn't widely available to actual people, so it may not be a fair comparison. But you look at the newspaper, the price of gold in August 71, 35 bucks. 10 years later, it was over 850, and people were talking then about numbers now that the same type of feverish pitch and the same type of people that were trying to sell the $250,000 and $300,000 BTC story. We're talking about gold in the thousands, and it should have, but it was cut off at the knees. People that are into GATA, the Gold Antitrust Action Committee, and the JP Morgan metals market manipulation lawsuits know that stuff very well. So we don't need to get into it. But essentially, all crypto is risky. Gold is much less risky. And so if you can get gold for 60% cheaper than it was two generations ago, and gold is not going away, even if crypto takes over as 90% of our monetary future, that doesn't change anything about gold, because gold is 10 trillion on a monetary pyramid that's like 1 quadrillion or more if you include derivatives. And so gold can still fulfill a great role. It's not a gold or crypto question. It's a gold and crypto question. Mm-hmm. And so if your downside is protected and you're not going to lose, and it requires a bit of juxtaposition, because gold is best looked at as how many ounces, or like you got to look at the physical amount, not the dollar value of that amount, because if you do, you're missing the point of the exercise. Dollars can be created, any fiat currency can be created in infinite quantities at zero cost. Whereas if you want to produce another ounce of gold, you have to go and put something pretty close to the market value of that gold in terms of resources, energy, mining equipment, CapEx, the cost of capital, all that stuff. Gold mining is a very low margin.
Isn't the parallel then, as they talk about Bitcoin being the digital gold, or you can even talk Epic Cash, but isn't it the same thing, that to be able to get another Epic coin, it's going to take the energy?
Yeah, that's a feature, not a bug. It is the
Greetings, Israel. Israel just came in and said greetings. So just wanted to.
Oh, okay. All right. We can jump people on the line. I don't want to do too much monologue here today. I was thinking we would do
Look,
community stuff.
it is all dependent. Everybody in the chat, we welcome you. There's a Zoom link, and if you missed it from the beginning, the goal of this weekly show, which is going to be noon to 1 every Sunday Eastern time, is to just do a little market check, talk about what's been going on in crypto during the week with my good friend Max, and take any questions that you might have. So really, it's your show. Click in there. I'll let you in, and we can have fun. And I'm going to be real disciplined to keep it to 1 hour, because one of the bits of feedback was that our content has been great, Max, but we tend to go long.
Yeah, and also, thanks for that, because I don't think anybody cares about my thoughts on gold. If you do, happy to share them. Just DM me on Telegram or whatever. But really, my hope for blocking out this chunk of time on the weekend was it tends to be when people are more available, because we all have lives outside of our presence and participation in Epic, and it's a good time to just kind of check in on what everything is going on. So maybe I can just give a quick rundown on where things are with our world. But before I do that, the purpose of the multi-hour calls before, just so everybody knows, is not that we expected a lot of people to sit there and listen to them, but already we've gotten a transcript out that people are editing. We're taking that presentation and cutting it into pieces and turning a sentence into a paragraph, elaborating with more links and charts and diagrams. That 150 minutes of the Epic for Monero Maxis, as an example, could end up being whole curricula for free U for people that really want to get into that deep dive, but really making it more modular and bite-sized and approachable. So yeah, where we are is the ECR token is up on Rinkaby testnet. We have a multi-sig
Can you
wallet.
tell everyone what an ECR token is, so that this channel is dedicated to newbies?
Sure. So the first protocol that we launched is Epic, which is a coin. It's a proof of work blockchain, and there's 21 million coins that take until the year 2140 to emit, and it follows BTC and all that good stuff. But when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And really what we're trying to do is enable people to have a Swiss Army knife with different tools for different purposes. And so ECR stands for Epicenter token. We also think of it as having engineered enhanced censorship resistance in many ways. Also extreme compatibility with regulations. There's a lot of different things that ECR could mean to you. Everybody uses it for different purposes. But essentially, it's a membership-driven concept where if you're in the boat with us on the Epicenter journey, then as we build out additional networks and products and services that people find valuable, because there's no company behind it with investors and VCs that has to get an ROI, just as a pure protocol, all of the economics of what we're building together flow through to us as user, owner, operator, participants. So ECR is a participatory concept rather than if you own a share of Tesla, you hope Elon Musk does a good job and pumps your bags. If you own ECR, sure, you can passively own it and get a free ride on everybody else, or you could get involved and contribute, even if that's just commenting on videos or supporting content or creating, memes or videos or, translations. Any, you don't have to be a software developer to contribute. ECR is a tool that enables us to organize our behavior and our economic interrelationships with each other in this type of tool that's entirely voluntary. The fiat money system is implicitly violence based. You must use this money or we'll kill you, is kind of the value proposition. Nobody can be forced to use any of our currencies. So we have to persuade and cajole rather than coerce and force. So anyway, ETR is the token of our DAO. DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. It's essentially an entity that exists not as a corporation on the registrar of the Secretary of State of some jurisdiction. It exists in smart contract form alone. In this case, Ethereum is the network we've chosen for that, at least initially. So using the ETR token, you'll be able to participate in governance. What is governance? Well, as these complex systems evolve, we have to make decisions about the choices that we make as we go along. And the ETR token gives us a way to make that transparent, fair as far as our belief of what constitutes fair. It's a clean sheet as far as, whether we want it to be advantageous to certain people for certain reasons. The redistributionist idea that's so in vogue in the current system of these guys have too much, let's steal it from them and give it to this guy. We don't want to do that, but there's nothing that says like, if you're a minnow and at the margin, like an extra 10 cents matters a lot if all you have is $1. An extra $1 doesn't matter a lot if you have 1 million. So maybe we just tilt the playing field ever so slightly, that the little guys get an extra fair shake. Just where we can engineer in humanity into our structure. Ultimately, Epicenter exists for the advancement of and prosperity creation of the people that are in it and doing it. So that's ECR in a nutshell.
In it and doing it. I like the fact you have a verb in there.
It works. It works best if you work it.
Question on the CGT. Where do you store CGT? They say not your keys, not your coins.
On the ledger.
On the ledger or on a Trezor, I presume?
Sure. Yeah,
okay.
Anywhere you can store an ERC20 token, or even just write your seed words down on a piece of paper and stick it in a fireproof safe. That's as good a cold wallet as any. So it's a ERC20 standard token.
Okay, so you would want to pull that off of an exchange. I just want to be really clear on that, and put it into an offline cold storage wallet, preferably, or if you only had Exodus or something, you could do that as well, right?
As long as you have the keys.
As long as you have the keys, right? And so to be able to convert something to CGT, how would you go? What would be the most cost-effective way to go through that process?
So Uniswap is the where most of the action is, and so what you would do is get your hands on Ether. So for example, if you had Coinbase, you would buy Ether from Coinbase, and then
a little bit, right? Just a little bit.
A little bit of what?
Ether. It's not like go out and just buy a bunch of Ether. You just need it for ultimately the Uniswap and the gas fees and such, right?
No, you use Ether as the currency to buy CGT with.
Oh, did not know that.
You can't buy it with. Yeah, that's the most efficient route. If you try to go through BTC, you're paying lots of extra fees because you're going to have to hop through Ethereum to get it. So might as well just start with the Ether.
Okay, so you're starting with Ether, but for those of us who might have a portfolio of other coins that are not Ethereum based,
sell those, get Ether, use the Ether on Uniswap to swap for CGT.
Okay, got it. And people should know that does create a taxable event. So just
unless you have your assets titled and held in the right type of entity, you can have a self-directed IRA,
Yep.
which is tax efficient. There's other structures. So this is one of those cases where if you invest in the right type of service provider that has the answers to help you make the right decisions, usually those guys pay for themselves many times over. It's not
Anytime
just
over.
about filling out the forms properly. Anybody can do that, but it's really the advice that helps. So if you plan to get rich in crypto and you actually want to keep it, rather than just have a surprise tax bill the next year and then the market's down and you can't sell, it's amazing how much of the timing of all markets, not just crypto, are driven by tax events. Right. Let me sell my losers the last week before 12/31, and that way I can reduce my tax burden and offset my winners. But then in April, I got to sell to come up with the cash. And so like I would encourage people to look at the net result after all taxes, costs, losses, just everything involved. It's not what you earn, it's what you keep. And if you look at it from that perspective, not all units of income are worth the same. If you're in a high tax jurisdiction such as Europe, you may find that an after-tax dollar is worth as many as 4 or 5 at the front end of the funnel, just because there's such a heavy load of other people's interests that you're carrying along with your activity. So do we want to take some questions now? Izzy, thanks for jumping in. Maybe you have something?
The invite's open. Nobody's joined us, and there aren't a lot of people in the chat. There's 23 watching. So anyone in the chat, if you have a question, go ahead and ask. But I anticipate this will be a slow boil, Max, so that people over the weeks will start anticipating it. But
just keep
I
doing
do want to let everyone know that once this live stream renders, I put my standard notes, or you can go to any of my videos and go down and look in the show notes. And if you look for perpetual assets, there's a link in there that you can reach out to them. And if you have any kind of a IRA or 401k, and you want it to be self-directed to where you want to use that as dry powder for crypto, that's what I did. And so when I wanted to state, because I know a lot of people out there are just dealing with their own personal accounts. So when I make decisions of conversion into other coins, I'm not thinking about it with the immediate year's tax liability in mind, because I am under the protection of a self-directed IRA LLC brought to you by Perpetual Assets. I highly recommend them. And you're right. I can tell you guys, they I get it. I get it now. I'm so glad I did it. I do not have to worry about this. I'm 56 years old. I can start taking things out when I'm 59 and a half. I could understand.
Hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt there, but just, I don't know about you, but 3.5 years from now is a long time. You said you're 56, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3.5 years is a long time, especially in crypto. What will be out far in advance of that is the part of the reason why we need ECR is that ECR is essentially, you can think of it as like the equity of an algorithmic central bank whose product is the EUSD stablecoin token. Now, what is a stablecoin? It's designed to be stable around $1 of value. In the pre-1971 gold system, $1 was redeemable for 1/35 of an ounce of gold, and that was what gave everyone trust in the system. Historically, pre-1971, money was always that way. We didn't know any different. We're in uncharted waters here, 50 years into a wild experiment. And in my opinion, it's coming to a close. But what I was going to say is, so let's say somebody is lucky enough to hold $10,000 worth of Epic at the present rate, whatever the market value is. If you want to go and buy something, let's say for 5,000, we're going to keep the collateralization ratio very, very conservative in the beginning, actually for quite some time, to make sure that things don't blow up. We've all heard of things like iron and Titan and basis cash and empty set dollar. And I mean, there's been over 300 stablecoin attempts, and most of them die, often spectacularly so. And so having studied all of those, we know how to avoid at least many of the pitfalls. And so what you'll be able to do is essentially lock your Epic into a smart contract vault and borrow from your future self. You issue yourself using your Epic as collateral and an interest-free loan of EUSD notes, just like the Federal Reserve note, which we call a dollar, but really is just a debt instrument. It was originally a claim check for actual money, which was gold. Now it's just I don't know what it is. Honestly, I'll have to think about that. But one EUSD is always redeemable for $1 worth of Epic, whatever the price is. So right now, at 50 cents, let's call it, that means if we had the system today, you would burn one EUSD token to get 2 Epic back. If the price of Epic goes to 10 cents, you get 10 Epic back. If it goes to $10, you get 0.1 Epic back. And so from the Epic side, we want the price to go to infinity. And over the long term, that's what it's designed to do. But that's a problem if you are a landlord and you want to have a stable unit of account for your contract. Right. If you're a restaurant and want to pay your bills or pay your expenses in fiat, you need to have the current income currency match the outflow currency. And so essentially what we're building toward is a decentralized everything to everything Forex capability long-term. And over the short term, the first part of that is enabling those of us who hold Epic to increase our spending power by using our Epic not to sell necessarily. And of course, you can pay for things in Epic, and I recommend that everyone do. Unlike BTC, where the model falls apart if you hodl, I think Epic works better if you spend it. And if you find that you do that, if you give away a little of your holding, you end up with 90% you kept being worth more than the 10% you gave away because of the magic of the mass of network effects. So essentially, your portfolio, whatever exists in Epic anyway, you'll be able to punch above your weight in terms of present spending power in a number of ways. Because if you borrow against your holdings, even if they're not held in a self-directed IRA LLC, as a loan, there is no taxable event, right, at least presently. So you're better off there. You're not selling, and so you don't incur the capital gains, which usually is short-term rates or punitive. They're talking about an 80% windfall tax for 2021 for crypto. And then you lose out on the potential appreciation. You're the guy that you could have had 10,000 BTC and all you got was 2 Papa John's pizzas and some fame. Nobody wants that to happen. And so ECR is the piece of magic that enables the EUSD design to work. Because without it, it's like a connecting rod or something like that in an engine, where you need to like cross out the frequency, the vibrations, or else the engine falls apart.
Hey, Max.
So yeah.
So Claude says 401ks will be the first to go 3.5 years. LOL, the dollar is going to be worthless. And I would say, Claude, based upon reading that, I think you may misinterpret the goal of my self-directed IRA is to get out of the worthless fiat. And I use that as the on-ramp or the vehicle so that I can be in cryptocurrency. And hopefully over these next 3.5 years, diversify in all the right places without tax consequence. But I hear you. The dollar is going to be worthless. Max, what do you have to say about Claude's comment?
The can has been kicked down the road for so long. I remember looking at the dot-com boom and bust and going, okay, now we're going to bring some sanity. Nope. Then 2006 comes around. Okay, well, we have a hangover from the mortgage crisis, but instead of fixing the underlying issue, let's just put Band-Aids on and pump the patient full of methamphetamine. And then Cyprus blows up in 2013. Okay, well, we can get 8 more years out of it. Here we are in 2021. So I think they call the trade of betting against the Japanese government the widowmaker, because the market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. So I wouldn't want to comment on specific timing, but there's been over 450 fiat currencies in the last approximately century that have gone to zero. I'm unaware of any fiat currency that has ever not gone to zero in the fullness of time. And if they haven't gone to zero yet, like the UK pound sterling, it originally started as a pound of silver. There's been something like 99 point something whatever percent of value erosion had you just kept the silver versus having a note for that silver. In a way, like fiat currency is basically just tokenized government debt. And there's a lot of friction because you need men with guns to go and steal the money from people to make the system work. Britain just paid off in 2015 its World War I, the first of its World War I war bonds from 1914. And so 100 years of compound interest on currency that was created from thin air in the first place.
Wow.
That's some kind of alchemy there. So I think it's all coming to an end. I think that the days of being a central banker, being the pinnacle, the commanding heights of our economic system, are long done, and nobody just has realized it yet.
Hey, Max, can you just, and we have 10 minutes, so I'd like to end. One thing that I've heard you talk about, and I know that a friend of mine personally took it seriously and has gotten involved and is super excited about it. But with Epic Cash, guys, if you don't have discretionary income and you have a computer, you can figure out how to mine it and just kind of get involved that way. And it becomes, it's like, who's the guy, the Dilbert creator, Adams?
Scott Adams.
Scott Adams. Yeah, I really like what he says about building your talent stack. He's like, I'm not the best artist. I'm not the best comedian. I'm not the best illustrator. I'm not the best X, Y, and Z. But each time I take something on just to get some expertise in it, and I look at that as just adding something to my talent stack. And he says, and then at the end of the day, you're sitting there looking back at your own talent stack and say, hey, I'm pretty good at some things. I mean, the stack's getting bigger. I may not be the best in those things, but I'm competent. I know the language, etc. So with mining, and spirit of full disclosure, I have not started to mine yet. When I do, I'll tell you. It's just I have not. But I have a friend who has started the process, which began in a Telegram chat. And could you share that Telegram chat, Max, with everyone and just tell people how they might get started?
Yeah, so I would actually say that if you are the most intimidated and believe it is completely impossible for you to mine, we especially want you because we need to make this dramatically easier for people who aren't computer experts, and only through that type of direct coaching experience can we get that feedback. So you'd not only be helping yourself, but helping us. So the best place for that is on Telegram. It's Epic Cash Help Desk. And we've got a squad of volunteers in there that have seen it all in terms of challenges of getting started, and are happy to get people going. I think like if you're fairly savvy, the overall time commitment, you kind of have to like start it and then let it finish downloading and stuff. But I mean, you could probably get going in under an hour, if not 30 minutes. And that's not like a whole hour. That's like a few minutes here, check back later. Like if you've ever set up a new system on Windows, you kind of have to let it go through its process and come back to it while it's processing. That kind of experience, rather than carving out a whole hour out of your day. And so I would just like pop in there, Epic Cash Help Desk on Telegram, and say, hey guys, I have an IBM ThinkPad laptop, such and such model. How much, number one, can I mine? And number two, how much can I earn? And so it's very easy to check what the hash rate would be, and then figure out the earnings. Even just to have direct experience with something and demystify it. Like if you went and actually installed the software of the shitcoin portfolio and said, like how likely is it that this thing is going to be worth $1 trillion, as the promoters say, when like there's no there. There's no product, or the product is a joke, or whatever. Like you can get snowed, you can get taken advantage of by vaporware and stuff that sucks. If you're just an owner, but if you're a user, then you'll go, wait a minute, like why is this thing 10 times the price of that other network? I've used both, and the cheaper one is better, and it's 10 times less expensive. So why wouldn't I go with that one? There's no substitute for doing the work as a user on these things, because otherwise all you have to go by is your ability to appraise the marketing promises of the people who are promoting it. So it's very useful to do that. Yeah.
Can I put you on the spot?
Yes.
Okay, I just had an idea. Could be a bad idea, you can tell me. Okay. But to me, everything's about adoption. People have to become familiar with it. People have to go through the process. Is there maybe next week that we could announce something? And again, I apologize for doing this publicly. Should probably respect you and have it privately. But what do you think of the notion of being able to have something in place to where the first number of people who download the Vite wallet, and I don't know, I'm just trying to figure out a way if we could give away some Epic Cash coins, maybe 5 to 10 coins to people who do something, just to be able to have a reason to talk about it, and also give people an opportunity to be able to say, hey, this confused me. This was not intuitive, or you know what I mean? It's just kind of like using my folks in my channel who take the time to come visit on Sunday to be able to just get involved.
Well, yeah. So I would just say in the our model is ask forgiveness, not permission. There's nobody to get permission from. If you want to give coins away, you're more than welcome to. You just do it. I give coins away to people in my life constantly. You just have them install the wallet, give them get their address, send them a coin, and they're done. It's literally that simple. If you wanted to make it more structural, there's a website called epicfundme.com, where if you said, hey guys, I am doing this giveaway and I'm thinking it would be structured such and such a way. If you want to contribute, then here's the Vite address for that effort. Send me some coins and we'll add it to the pot. So yeah, I mean, I would certainly kick down for that. But as you mentioned the number of 5 or 10 coins, it reminds me of when I was a kid. I'd go and ask my dad for $20, and he's like, $10? What do you need $5 for? And so
I don't have 50 cents.
Well, yeah, you owe me $2 from last week. Go mow the lawn. So 5 or 10 might not be the number unless you want to make these people independently wealthy. So maybe that's not the quite number, or not quite the right number, but I think there is value there.
Look, we take the good with the bad on this show. Cunningham's Law, and WoW are both easy to mine and easy to use. I've spent about 4 hours trying to set up a miner for Epic. No luck, and the wallet is abysmal. So we are open for that kind of constructive talk here, and thank you for sharing Cunningham's Law.
Yeah. So so on R, you need an ASIC miner. Last I checked, the one that I looked at, I think it was the Z15. I think it was from Bitmain. I think it's 13 grand, or it was on the site that I saw. It sounds like a high-speed dental drill mated with a vacuum cleaner. And you need heavy duty power. So unplug your washer dryer while you're running. Oh, and don't forget the airflow and cooling because it runs hot. Oh, and don't forget the fact that it's going to be obsolete in 18 months and no longer be able to produce any coins because of Moore's law with ASICs. So setting that aside, and the fact that all the mining infrastructure had over a decade to come into place, because as originally a BTC derived code base fork, as I understand, you're essentially plug and play with most of what's out there. And so as a completely novel code base, Epic doesn't have that. And our stuff is as good or better than BTC was in 2010.
Neither. Hey, Cunningham's Law. We can kick it down the road a little bit, or the time constraint. There's the link above. Can you just go to the top? Are you comfortable with calling in and let's have a chat, a good constructive chat?
Sure.
Cunningham's Law is saying neither R nor Monero, WoW, RandomX require ASICs. They both have AMD miners.
That's funny. R uses the Equihash algorithm, which is ASIC only from Bitmain. So,
okay, Cunningham's. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt here. Cunningham's Law. Let's call him CL. He's saying that he's mining without it. Or Cunningham's Law. Are you actually mining it right now without it, or are you just saying that neither of them require it, but you have it already?
Okay. Technically, you can run SHA-256 for BTC on your computer, but it runs thousands of times less efficient than purpose-built devices. So, like the fact that, like, I'll give you an example. You can do literal alchemy, like turning lead to gold in a laboratory. We as humans know how to do that, but nobody does it because the energy that you put in to turn lead into gold, it just doesn't pay. And so on an ASIC algorithm such as Equihash, you may be able to like run it at like 1/10,000th the speed of the ASIC or something. So if you, I remember you sent me that one friend who had an RTX 2060 card, I think it was, and he had been mining R for 45 days and generated, I think it was 60 cents for 45 days was the number. And if that person had been mining Epic, I actually had somebody run the numbers, they would have earned $150 worth of Epic in that 45 days versus 60 cents. It was 250 times more ROI in that case. So if you're doing apples to apples on WoW or XMR, I mean, WoW might be a little, because it's less liquid, but XMR was like 2.2x more profitable with Epic at a 40% power reduction. So,
okay, so CL is saying, though, he said looks like he did make the attempt. I've spent 4 hours trying to set up miner for Epic and no luck. The wallet.
Help desk. Let's get into help desk. And there is no the wallet. There's multiple wallets. So I'm not sure what people are referring to. But if you're using a wallet you don't like, then find another one. But there's
so Vite wallet's not the only.
Vite wallet is for the Vite chain, which the Epic token that you're trading on that chain is essentially an IOU for the coins that you can withdraw to your local wallet if you want to. Vite is essentially a P2P trading DApp or decentralized app that enables people to get Epic to each other that don't necessarily use the actual blockchain.
Got it.
But they can. It's like the goal of VGate is to provide that bridge between the on-ramp and off-ramp between the Vite chain and the Epic chain, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
But the point is well taken. Epic Cash Help Desk, jump in there, and especially if you've already spent 4 hours, then whatever the roadblock is, come and ask for help.
Cunningham's Law. We love CL. He's been in here a long time, and I've always enjoyed his comments or her comments. I have no idea. But he said, running R for months, switched to random X for WoW/Monero just for kicks. I tried with Epic in December, tried several times since, not knocking Epic. I can get it done on my 3 servers with 120 CPUs. So CL, if you can, I mean, maybe because we're open. This is, look, you know me, I don't know shit. So
that's what we're here to solve. Yeah. So jump into help desk. I keep an eye on it, and there's lots of others to help there too. So whatever you need, we'll get you sorted. But I mean, if you're running WoW and XMR on the CPU on RandomX, just do the math. Epicmine.org has the hash rate calculator. Just plug in the numbers into RandomX, and then compare. The last time I did the math versus Monero, it was 2.2 times more Monero mining Epic and using that Epic to buy Monero. And again, at 40% power reduction on that algorithm, you end up with more Monero mining Epic and selling it to buy Monero than you do mining Monero directly. And again, I don't know about WoW, but the point I'm trying to make is it is worth the effort, not just betting on the come that one day the coins will be valuable, but you actually get more money in your pocket immediately.
Yeah. And I'm going to be very diligent and try to not make mistakes that I've seen elsewhere, where all of a sudden one post can paint the picture for everyone. So that's why I wanted to jump on that right away about, Epic not or being painful to mine. If it is, then you'll address that. But I really do appreciate the feedback, Cunningham's Law. And Chillax is asking, what's this interview about? Chillax, just to give you, because we're about to wrap it up, every Sunday from noon to 1 o'clock, Max is going to join me. We're basically going to do a market update, look back at the week, see what's happened, see if there's anything interesting to talk about. Max will also have a segment just kind of talking about Epicenter and Epic Cash and what's happening from a development standpoint in his world. But mostly, it's like, think about it as a weekly talk show to where you can be involved. I'll drop the very first post when I go live is going to be an invitation link, a Zoom invitation link. So you can anticipate it throughout the week. If you have a question or you have any issue, for example, Cunningham's Law on this mining, it'd be great next time. Maybe you can work on it and call in next time. You don't have to use video. You can just use, you can just call in and not use video.
We can collect the questions ahead of time. If something comes up, just set up something where people can send in the questions. We'll accumulate them, filter out the duplicates, select the best ones, or maybe people can express opinion on that in some way.
Why don't we do that? If you have a question, just go to Uncle Vigilante Lounge. So t.me Uncle Vigilante Lounge, and then just say, for your Sunday show, just put that in at the beginning, and then ask your question. And then what I'll do is I'll copy and paste those into my notes section, and I'll have those at the ready. I think that'd be a great idea. So go to t.me /Uncle Vigilante. And look, this is something that we're just exploring all of this together. We're trying to figure it out along the way, and we will. That's why if you go back and listen to the beginning of this, I talk about being I guess you could call me Todradamus, because I know the future. And what I know is that in 6 months, what I think this show is going to be about is not going to be what this show is about. It just morphs and changes because we do things like this. And then it's the butterfly effect. I mean, in a month, this may expand to 2 hours, and all of a sudden we find 200 people are calling in and contributing. I have no idea. I really don't care. We're just here for the ride. But I do appreciate that you guys are here, and just stay tuned. Come back next Sunday. And Max, I want to wrap this up because I do want to be true to the noon to one, just so that you and I can both have a life, and also the people don't have to feel like it's such a huge commit. Do you have anything to head us out with?
Just that I promise to prepare better next time, and taking a bunch of notes on how we can make better use of the hour for next time. The reason that I've decided to carve out this chunk of my schedule is just trying to be sensitive to some of the feedback that has crossed my radar screen, that everybody is so busy doing stuff that one of the things we haven't done as good a job on is communicating about what is going on. Epic and Epicenter is kind of like an iceberg under the surface, where what you see is not really all that's there, or even a small part of it. I was working on a census earlier this morning, and currently there's almost 140 people that give some of their life force contributing to what we're doing in some way. And if you didn't know any better, you hit up the Epic Cash website from 2019, and you're like, oh, nothing going on here. Next coin on the list, right? With 10,000, you gotta go quickly through them, but you peel away the layers of the onion, and there's a lot of substance there. And so our goal is to continue to get better over time. And I just want to reiterate my call to everyone everywhere that wants to help, especially if you're an Epic holder. By all means, get involved. We'd love it for it to be 141 with you, whoever is receiving this, whenever that is. Hop into any one of the Telegram chats and find somebody and say, hey, how do I get involved? It really is a situation where your effort applied can probably, if you look at it in a holistic sense of the net impact on your life, a 10 minutes spent here probably moves the needle for you more than 10 minutes spent doing whatever else you do with your time. And the dream of financial independence is really within reach for everyone that is this early to Epic. And you can, I find that people's inability to dream of your thing about why not me, well, it can be literally everyone. And this is the way that we've found to do it. It's still very early. And so don't be shy, knock on a door and ask to get involved, and you may just like it.
Now the other Epic Cash, is it Epic Cash Community, or what is it?
Epic Cash, just Epic Cash is the main Telegram.
Epic Cash is the main community. And I had an aha moment this week I'll just leave with, which is it finally hit me. I could never really figure out what encompassed the value of a coin. So like, I know now I'm starting to understand that Bitcoin is derived from a tremendous amount of energy out there that is captured on a blockchain, be it for the energy to mine, be it the life force of a miner, be it, community, being it the people who buy it and trade it. And now as I've kind of plugged in with this project, and I have seen within the Telegram chats, I'm starting to look at my portfolio of Epic Cash that by leading with my chin and not my hand out, meaning say, gimme, 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 if I lead with my chin and I invest my energy, so my life force, into doing what I do well, which is I don't know, to talk, to be curious, to have this channel, to either be an evangelist of something or not, or at least to check the box and say, no, shitcoin, don't do it, to the best of my ability. But what that is that is all of my energy. And because I do hold Epic Cash, I can feel good about putting my energy into this, because it's that 1 + 1 = 11 thing. The more energy that we all put in it, which is why I want to tell you that if you are a person who has a specific gift, like me, don't ask me to be an illustrator. Don't give me an idea and say, could you do something that would represent this, that would be like some miners mining for Epic Cash, and it would look kind of like a cartoon, and it would be, well, go look at a thumbnail down below that I did about Epic miners. That was me just putting a suggestion in the Epic Cash community, and within like a half an hour, I got that thumbnail out. So that was somebody in the community who was providing their energy so that I could have a thumbnail to put on my channel that was about an interview on how you would be able to mine this coin that hopefully, butterfly effect, positively impacts people. Do you see how all of the energy goes in? And when they talk about it being a community-based coin, it really is. And so the value of the coin going up isn't just because it's a clever meme. No, it is just all of the energy that is going into it. And it's just a measure of account of the energy. That's at least how I'm reconciling it in my mind, Max. You can tell me if I'm on target or not. Regardless, 60 seconds and we're out.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't we give that topic the full shrift that it deserves and leave it for another time so that we can be respectful of the time limit that we sent. And we'll see you again 167.75 hours from now, next week, Sunday, 12 p.m.
All right. You speak in Satoshis. I don't. We'll see you next week, guys. All right, guys.
Hey, when it comes to Bitcoin, Freeman is the new Satoshi.
Oh, I like it. Okay.
And what I mean by that is that there's 100 million Satoshis in one BTC, and our atomic unit, there's 100 million Freeman in one epic.
I love it. So, I love it.
We are all free men.
Not broke, don't fix it. Just rebrand it. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. See you next week. I'll see you. I do want to tell you, I'm so darn excited about Wednesday evening. I'm going to have Jim Gale on, who is the CEO of, it is foodforestabundance.com. And the title of it is going to be Nature's Crypto, Decentralized Food Forest. If you haven't seen my video from yesterday of my backyard and talking about it, you should go look at it, because this guy is so freaking cool. And I've had a couple of just personal conversations with him. And it's almost scares me, because both of us have, when we're charged, both of us have lots of energy vocally. And he's one of these guys, as I'm talking to him, I'm just sitting there wanting to do push-ups or something, because he just gets you jazzed and excited. So I really encourage you, Wednesday night from 7 to 9 p.m., we're going to talk about, your backyard, even if it's small or whatever, how you can turn that into something productive that yields produce that is fresh, that is real, because kind of the thesis is that, when the shit hits the fan, and, whether it's the demise of the dollar or whatever the next crisis is, being it real or manufactured, when the shit hits the fan, kind of food is a pretty important thing. I remember a year and a half ago when all of this started, and the lines and the oh man, but to be able to walk out in your backyard and be able to have some plants that are producing and yielding fruit and vegetables, That's a pretty cool thing. And so this guy has figured it out to where he can take a look at your environment and map out a game plan on what you can plant, how you plant it, that it's going to survive in your climate, and it's going to yield fruit, because some things yield fruit at different times than others. So anyway, I can't wait. It's going to be just a lot of fun. It's not crypto centric, but it is, because to me, if you're going to diversify your portfolio, you should think about your most basic needs first. So this is just about, getting the right kind of portfolio, and part of it that you can eat. Okay, with that, guys, I'm out. Thanks, Max. We'll see you guys next week.